Hi everyone, in this video we're going to be talking about feelings of sexual guilt and conflict, sexual conflict in straight men. The reason for doing this video is because there's a lot of male suicide going on, there's a lot of men not feeling well, they don't feel good, so I think anyone who's got better from mental illness, we need to share with other men how we did it and give them advice because, almost like a way out of the forest. If you made it out of the jungle and you can look on top of a jungle and look down, and you can see people going that way, they're going the wrong way. I want to tell them, how to overcome these feelings. So, if you go and see a priest because you feel that perhaps you go and talk to a vicar and you confess your sin, that's going to make you feel better. I don't think it will. It didn't for me. If you go to church or turn to religion, that's not the answer. They're just going to, make you close your eyes and pray. It's not going to, help you overcome these feelings of feeling inadequate. If you go and see a psychotherapist, they're there just to feed their curiosity. They just want to pick you up, know about anything you've ever thought of. They're not there to cure you. They're quite happy doing another 100 years of research, publishing papers with their name on it, advancing a career. If you get better or you don't, it doesn't matter. So the main thing you've got to know is that different things affect different people differently. Just because your friend smokes cigarettes doesn't mean you can. Just because your friend smokes marijuana doesn't mean you can. And just because some men can jerk off, bang any woman they want, and do anything they want, it doesn't mean you can. Different things affect all of us differently, and it's the same with sex. So hopefully, if you're someone who you feel like you've got mental problems, you feel there's something not quite right, you can't indulge in the present moment, you don't feel like you can enjoy your life because you think there's something impeding you, I'm going to explain how to overcome these feelings. So basically, I'll quickly tell you, we'll have to look at something first without getting into too much detail of how I came to these ideas. We'll look at the story of electricity briefly. Electricity comes from the Greek word electron, meaning amber, because Greeks, they found that amber rubbed with a cloth attracted light objects like feathers. So the word electricity comes from the Greek word from electron, meaning amber. So that's where the word electricity comes from. I'll explain why this is relevant in a minute, but bear with me please. So later in the 1700s, a man called Charles Dufay discovered there were two kinds of electrical charge. Wax rubbed with a wool cloth showed one kind, and glass rubbed with silk showed another. There were other developments with electricity. Peter van Mischenbroek of Leyden found the Leyden jar. Hans Christian Ørsted, the link between electricity and magnetism. But Michael Faraday, the dynamo, Benjamin Franklin was the one who coined the term positive and negative. So that's what struck me when I was learning about electricity, the fact that there are two different forces, one's positive, one's negative. And I later started looking into other subjects. I started looking at, like inventions, religion, the periodic table, just out of interest in an effort to understand the world we live in. And I stumbled on this, which I found quite fascinating. This is the yin-yang symbol. Forgive me, I should put some graphics on the screen. And in Eastern thought, these are two opposing, antagonistic forces which constitute everything in life. This is according to Eastern thought. Whether these forces exist on a metaphysical level, I don't know. I'm not saying they do exist. What I'm saying is, when I was looking and reading up about yin and yang, there's something that struck me, because in the particular book I read, I remember reading yin is submissive, dark, absorbing earth, and yang is dominant, light, penetrating heaven. So the two words that struck me when I read this was force, dominant, submissive, and it rang a bell, because I remember when I was reading up about electricity, there were two forces, positive and negative. And then I kind of like had a eureka moment where I thought, well, if like Charles Dufay rubbed, he rubbed wax with a wool cloth for one kind of charge and glass rubbed with silk, perhaps when we rub our sexual organs, if we focus and make sure that we are dominant, we will attract that yang energy. It was just a theory, because nothing else was working. The psychologist didn't help me, the priest didn't help me. Priest said to me, if you feel guilty and inadequate because this is what Christ is about, indulging Christ's suffering. That wasn't the answer I was looking for. I wanted a way out of my predicament. I wanted something to make me feel good. So I thought of this myself. I just thought, if I make sure that every time I, expel sexual energy, it's always done in a dominant way. And here we're talking about, I'm a straight guy, I like women, I like girls. I don't have a problem if you're LGBT or you're a man trapped in a woman's body or you're anything else. Some of us, you're just a normal guy, you want a woman, you want to, feel good about yourself. This is the intention. So I thought, I'm not saying I was necessarily indulging in submissive things before, but I never knew the importance of remaining dominant. I would say, like, you're jerking off and you're daydreaming, or you jerk off without even thinking about anything. Perhaps sometimes I was doing that. That was the problem. You have to make sure that you are always dominant and expelling this. You need to cultivate this positive energy, whether it's a yang energy or whether there's something. This energy, for me, it exists in that it makes me feel good if you're always being dominant. So I propose any guy that has got these kind of problems of sexual sin or guilt, and you don't know where to turn, and you don't feel happy, and you're walking around town, and you're walking out in a nice blue sky day, and you feel like something's wrong, you don't know what it is, you just don't feel present, you don't feel happy to do my theory. So basically, my idea was that if you indulge in sexual submission, you're going to generate negative energy, which is in turn going to make you feel uncomfortable. It's going to make you feel not happy, uncomfortable, you're not present. But if you indulge in sexual dominance and make sure you're always sexually dominant, you're going to attract positive energy and you're going to feel comfortable. You're going to feel like you're in control of things, like you want to go on a bike ride. I like going sometimes for a bike ride along the River Thames. I take my girl with me, we stop, we have a picnic, you have a cup of coffee, you look around at the lovely, the flowers, the ducks, the sunshine, and you enjoy the moment, you enjoy this energy, this goodness. This is what you've got to do. You've got to make sure that you're always sexually dominant. Now, if you don't have a girlfriend, I'll tell you what to do, yeah? Basically, every time you have to follow this for 4 months, before you dismiss it, before you say, a load of nonsense, or maybe it's not true, give it a try. For 4 months, you're going to say that every time you jerk off, yeah, you're going to make sure that you're always standing up. Don't do it sitting down, do it standing up, so you can make sure the flow, everything is flowing better, so to speak. If you do jerk off, always have a picture of a woman in front of you, whether that be a picture or a movie. Only jerk off when it's in front of you, so you're always active. Never close your eyes and imagine. No, always you jerk off with a picture or a video in front of you, and you make sure that that it's always something where you're banging her. You're the dominant one. You never watch anything to do with sexual submission or any, like nowadays there's a lot of stuff where women take control of you. You always make sure you look at stuff where you're the one giving and she's the one receiving. If you have a shower and you have to wash, I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's all part of helping people get better, I hope. If you have to have a shower and you need to wash your genitals, make sure that you don't think of anything sexual while you're doing that. Every time you expel sexual energy, you're always the dominant one. There's always a picture or something in front of you, of a woman in front of you. So, sexual submission equals negative energy equals feeling uncomfortable. Sexual dominance equals positive energy equals feeling comfortable. That's the idea. With if you are lucky enough to eventually feel good and you get yourself a girlfriend, women nowadays are extremely they're extremely confident in the bedroom. My goodness, they read things like Cosmopolitan or these magazines where how to seduce your man, or all this kind of nonsense. So if you're not careful, one day depends what kind of girl you get. If you're lucky enough to get a nice submissive girl who's naturally like that, then you're in luck. Some girls might like to maybe come home one day just to surprise you or something. She might have a whip in her hand or think they spice up the relationship or something. So you need to tell her before. You need to say, listen, in this relationship, we can, disagree. We can, have our disagreements. We can get on with each other. We can do whatever you want. But in the bedroom, I'm the man and you're the woman. I give and you receive. And we're not doing anything like that. If ever she, you come home and she wants to do something where she's taking control, you say, no, I don't want. You're going to make me feel sick. You're going to make me feel inadequate. I don't want to indulge in that. And you tell her. You lay the groundwork, kind of thing. Most girls, in my experience, they're naturally submissive anyway. Maybe some of them just thought that's what you like to do, so that's why they bring it up. But other things, if you do get a girlfriend, I found sometimes if they give you oral sex, sometimes I found they like to start touching, your testicles or something. Personally, I found that even a bit off-putting. I'd just say, listen, you're making me feel a little bit not quite right. Just don't touch my testicles or start, feeling me up in other places around there. I like to just be the one banging her. She can, indulge in oral sex. I don't mind, but you have to be careful in what kind of, what things are going to make you feel comfortable and uncomfortable. But usually it's going to be that you're the one banging her and she's the one receiving. And that's it's going to take it's going to take 4 days for you to see any kind of improvement. So especially if you don't have a girl and you are just jerking off, if you're still at that stage, it's going to take 4 days before this yang energy is generated. So if you like are indulging in sexual dominance, but then you start going into sexual submission and then sexual dominance. It's not going to work. You have to be you can't even indulge in sexual submission for 5 seconds. It's a complete expulsion. After 4 days, it's going to take for this positive energy to manifest itself. So don't think if you start doing what I'm telling you to do that you're going to see you're going to feel good the next day. On the 4th day, you're going to feel better, or you should feel better. And after that, you carry on for another week or 2 weeks. You do it for 4 months. You make sure every time you bang or you jerk off that you're the dominant one, and you're gonna arouse this positive energy, which in turn is going to make you feel comfortable and make you feel good about yourself. So give it a try, what I've just told you, over a period of 4 months, I say, before you dismiss it. This is the answer I was looking for. You're not going to get better by going to see a psychologist or going to see a priest. They're not there to cure you. You know, I'm doing this video, I'm telling you, this what I'm talking about here is something that transcends capitalism, communism, feud. If you're rich or poor, this is something, an inner peace which you need to cultivate. It doesn't matter what the environment is, but it's still, I've always said in other videos, mental illness isn't a disease. It's a multifaceted reaction to the social environment. This is something kind of like in the environment, I guess, isn't it? Because if you jerk off with a woman, it's in the environment. If you're, looking at pornography or jerking off, it's something in the environment. So it's still, but this is something in a lot of environments, if you know what I mean. This is why if you're from a rich family and you've got money and you feel inadequate and you feel all these feelings of conflict and guilt, this is the way to get better. I'm telling you with this video the answer. While we're on the subject, let me just check. So you've got to be dominant, give it a try, my theory, for 4 months before you dismiss it. You've got nothing to lose. Now, if after 5 or 6 months you feel like you've got a build-up of energy, or you feel like you need to let off steam, then there's nothing wrong if you need to indulge in watching some kind of movie where you let a woman take control, or you just you need to let off steam after 5 months because you feel like you're going to lose your sanity. That's fair enough. You can do it, but know that if you want to start feeling good about yourself, you need to then start being a man again and stepping up and being the dominant one. And like I don't know if I made myself clear. I've got nothing against a man that decides to go and get himself whipped by some woman, or if that's what couples indulge in. If another man does that and he's happy and he's content, I'm not going to look at him and point my finger and laugh. This isn't what this is about. I'm not trying to say I'm the bigger man or I'm better than you or anyone else. I'm saying that the only way to feel good, feel better about myself, is to make sure I'm indulging in this kind of sexual activity, to use my sexual organs in this manner. So different things affect different people differently. Some men, maybe are into having the women take control. That's fair enough. I don't have a problem. With me, it makes me feel sick. It provokes a sickness, if you like. And other men don't know. So I'm just telling you to try it too, because the only way for you out of your sickness, or one of your feelings of not being present or not, not enjoying the world we live in, is to step up and to try to be more in control of what you're doing. Just like some people, they smoke cigarettes and it doesn't affect them. I know guys that smoke marijuana, makes them more sociable. If I smoke marijuana, it's going to make me sick. Different things affect different people differently. So this with sex as well, you know, it affects different people differently. So I'm just merely saying this is what worked for me, and hopefully it's going to point men in the right direction for getting better. This is a long video, I didn't expect it to be this long, but a couple of other things, seeing I'm here, I may tell you, that I found helped my mental health was exercise. Possibly if you're at a stage where you are mentally ill, maybe try going to the Mind Social Club and meet other people there, and you can build up your confidence. Reduce stress as much as possible. I work part-time, as little as possible. In fact, if I could have early retirement, I happily would. I'm more than happy travelling and living, you know. Work as little as possible and throw your career right out the window, because stress can be very bad for some people. Be aware of your environment, how much it can affect you. I found this mindfulness people are going on about. Personally, mindfulness didn't work for me. I find the opposite worked for me, and that is learning. I find if I don't learn and stimulate my mind and learn about different things, my mind starts to panic and think about things and almost like worry and think silly things. Is this person saying that? Is this person? Whereas if you learn things and you learn knowledge and feed your mind knowledge, you counteract a lot of negativity. So I find knowledge is better than mindfulness. Mindfulness is almost like, oh, go to sleep, relax, switch off. For me, the opposite is better. To learn, try and remember stuff and use your brain. And finally, when I go to sleep at night, I like listening to the radio. Usually I listen to LBC radio. It makes my mind switch off. I don't think as much. I'm listening to the radio and it makes me switch off. Maybe it won't for you. I'm just sharing some ideas. So I think I've covered a hell of a lot of stuff really in this video. You know, there's a lot of men committing suicide, a lot of men feeling pain out there, a lot of men suffering, and I'm just, you know, sharing some light or my own insight. Mental illness isn't a disease. It's a multifaceted reaction to the social environment. This particular video is about something which transcends all environments. It's a feeling of inner peacefulness that I want to share with you, and hopefully the aim is that more men will start to feel better, start to look at things differently, and hopefully we can sort out this mental health epidemic. So thank you for watching and see you soon. Thank you.